Okay, all good. Over to you.
Thank you. This is Group 5 presenting the considerations a bank would need to make when they pursuing a platform business model. So the first consideration would be the platform structure. And we use the trinity of the structure and system to make our recommendations for a bank and what structure they should take. So the recommendations from a design of work and roles perspective is that we found that there was more advantages to follow a product and process unit structure, as well as a balance between decentralized decision making and decisions from the top that would promote a culture of autonomy, um, and then an agile-based teamwork structure, as well as a center of excellence between the bank's traditional operations, where you would have center of excellence representations from each department, so sort of a hybrid model. And in terms of the rewards management, we recommended a balance between behavioral and outcomes results focused. We said that as much as we want to promote a culture of innovation and promote that behavior, we would also want it to be results focused. That's any experimentation or goals, objectives would see results. We also looked at individual versus team focus, and we found that it'll be more prudent to be more team focused, and that reward should be incentive based. And in terms of performance management, again, we recommended it be more incentive based and sort of a balance between individual and team incentives. And those incentives should be based on markets. And then if it's premium, it should be on a case by case basis. And then feedback loops for insights gathered and fed back for product development. And to have a balance of not just an internal structure, but external providers as well. So contracts contracts and alliances with partners and service providers, as well as talents and systems. Okay, over to my colleague.
So we've made use of the Lee organizational framework to help us comprehensively cover the processes, structures, competencies, and technology that would be required for a traditional bank to evolve into a platform business. So in terms of structures, we start with client-centric teams. That means having cross-functional teams and segmented business units so you can effectively meet client needs. We also have a team that manages relations with our partners in the ecosystem. For example, it'll be looking at things like managing and building enterprise-level integrations with the bank's systems. We also have an innovation and technology team that will focus on research and development to enable platform growth. In terms of our core processes, we have the core process and microprocesses. So the microprocesses actually speak to the core processes. So they're actually a sub-level sub-level of core processes. So I'll just speak to the main processes. So that would include, so the main processes that would be required would be customer relationship management, which would include business service lines, so like marketing, product development, promotion, and internal resource development support functions like HR, legal, and finance, as well as service provision, business areas like sales and client onboarding. So for core competencies, we're looking at technical capabilities in specific areas like cloud, security, and software development, strategic competencies, as well as innovation and client experience management, which are key for the platform to succeed, and as well as operational competencies and process management. For technology, we'll need an API-driven architecture, which enables seamless integration, seamless third-party integration, and We have a microservices and cloud infrastructure, a microservices architecture, as well as the use of cloud to enable faster and flexible scalability, as well as to also have data analytics and cybersecurity. Next slide, please. So this is what the technology architecture would look like with all of the pieces put together. So this is more so it isn't an organizational architecture, but more so a high-level representation of how the technology landscape would look like with all the business processes configured and all of the systems built. So we'd have the back end, middle, and front layer, which is the presentation. Thanks. I'll hand over to my colleague.
The next slide speaks about governance. So we are cognizant of the fact that the board of directors are ultimately responsible for governance. And also looking at the far right, as far as information technology is concerned, we felt there is a need to make sure that things are done properly. So we're proposing a data governance a structure or forum that will assist in ensuring that there is integrity, security, and quality of data as far as all the business units are concerned in the bank, and also to make sure that all the departments are able to share data amongst themselves and also follow the same standards as well as principles. And then from an architecture governance, to make sure that the impact of the changes that are made and investment that are made as far as technology is concerned, those adhere to the security, the standards, as well as ensuring that operationally there's DevOps models that are being followed as well. As far as digital structures are concerned, which applies to all the digital products that the bank will be embarking on, ensuring that there is a digital culture that will promote innovation as well as embrace digital transformation. And we are also proposing that we are going to have a learning organization by upskilling the current employees as well as hiring new ones where we are lacking. And then from an ecosystem perspective, we're saying we are understanding that we are going to work with different partners. So engaging with the digital communities, outsourcing some of the skills or capabilities that we don't have, as well as externalization of some of the assets, and also partnering with innovation hubs that exist outside our environment to be able to gain some experience from them as well, and to also share information and have information shared with us as well. And then from a change management, which is a people change management, we opted for a ProSki change because it looks at the people as well as the technology aspects of change management. So we think it's a best fit, and also because it includes project management. So we're wanting to do things in an agile way. Hence, we chose that one as well. And then from a compliance oversight and risk management, to have in place a platform that will enable us to be able to identify risk, assess them, as well as put in mitigations in place to address those risks, and making sure that we're also conforming as far as laws and regulations such as POPIA. And then from a strategy perspective, we are noting the fact that the digital strategy should not deviate from the business strategy. So we want to make sure that there's alliance as far as the two are concerned, and ensure that we are monitoring the performance to make sure that we are meeting our target. And then lastly, we are saying from a organizational competency perspective to have in place those reward management, performance management, to make sure that we are able to motivate our employees as well as incentivize them when they are doing good. Thank you.
In terms of integration, we've got the current systems and structures, and then we've got the platform there in the middle, then we've got our complementers and consumers. So to integrate this with our current structures, it's important for us to note that it has to be an autonomous unit, right? So in terms of it being an autonomous unit, it'll help to, free innovation and birth innovation, so that we move away from the risk-averse culture in the banking sector. Also, access to organizational resources speeds up the growth connected to the organization, giving it access to financial and system resources, thus limiting risk of failure. Tapping into the consumer base, our customer base rather, of the organization to scale our platform. And instead of building another system on the legacy system, we should actually have access to the data points so that we're able to draw the data that the legacy systems is having. So in able to enable all of these elements of integration to our current system and structures. And we need to ensure that we have that embedded, or maybe the inclusion and the diversity of our employees so that they're able to, be part of the change, be part of the decisions, have them participate as well. Training and support is very crucial as well, so that we're able to, beef up our coaching and have videos and etc., so that our employees and staff are able to understand the clear instruction or the way to go in terms of our plan. The integration of legacy systems. Solutions to integrate and bridge legacy systems to new platforms, the collaboration with stakeholders. These include, the strategic partnerships, and obviously, lastly, very important, leadership commitment. And if we've got that commitment from leadership, it will help birth the ownership in terms of the future. Next slide, please. Alterations. So in terms of alterations, we've got these three elements under subunits by design and roles and work. Commercial and wholesale banking will be more of an industry platform, and the multi-sided platform will focus on consumer high-end net worth. Having a bit of both, having the centralized and decentralized will also ensure that we move into that autonomous unit as I spoke to last in the last slide. Focusing on the teamwork and agility will bridge, the issue that the banking industry is having in terms of working in silos. In terms of reward systems, being able to have that result or outcome-driven approach, more incentives for our teams, and moving away from that individual focus in terms of reward systems. In terms of performance, making sure that we actually push the autonomy approach in terms of performance so that we yield the results that we need, being results and outcome driven. In terms of performance, having a bit of both, in terms of performance and behavior, and in terms of evaluation, being able to evaluate the growth rate as it goes. We know that in terms of platforms and multi-sided, initially when they start, they don't just boom, but it's an initial growth rate. So we need to evaluate them at that rate so that we have a leading fair analysis. That is all from our team. Thank you.
Okay, thank you, Group 5, for your presentation. I see Group 11 would like to go first for
Yes, please.
culture
Can we
aspect.
go?
Yeah,
Can we
it's fine.
stick
You
to
can.
the order?
Thanks.
Someone has their hand up.
We're just doing the roll call, Ayanda. Is that fine?
Yes.
That's why your hands are up.
Yes.
Thank you, Group 11.
Two more people.
Sayuri won't be joining because she's traveling, and she's informed Prof. Greg and Brian as well.
Okay. And there's one more person missing then, because I only see 6 hands. Unless there's
The one other person